Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Surprise, surprise, if you haven't been with us before, we just came back to the Beis Medrash for the first time in how long? Too long. We're giving it a try. Everybody promises to be on their best behavior, masks, etc., social distancing. Today's Shiur is being sponsored in honor of my beloved son, Moshe Apter. He's a great kid. He's on Zoom every single day. He's a 13-year-old from Montreal. If you recall, he had a goat during his video, during the Siyum. So his father is saying, for putting in so much energy and effort in Reb Eli's Shiur. L'schos, Moshe ben Sarah and Elisheva bat Sarah, l'skayim mitzvah pruruvu. Amen. Sponsored by Shlomi Klein, which was always touched a little sadness as it's for his birthday, which was yesterday. In honor of my birthday, I'd like to honor them today. That the Nazis in Machshemam murdered that entire family. Whatever, it's hard to read. It's a little bit out of order. May the learning of so many bring them nachas, as I'm sure they're ready at the foot of Hashem's throne. Ben Rabbi Yeshua Osher, Menucha Kreindel Bas Rabbi Shimon, Yagab Rabbi Shmuel Zenvel, Yosef Rabbi Shmuel Zenvel, Chana Bas Rabbi Shmuel Zenvel, the whole mishpacha, Leis Bas Rabbi Shmuel Zenvel, Tzihirsh Ben Rabbi Shmuel Zenvel, Chaim Ben Rabbi Shmuel Zenvel, Hashem Yinkom Damam. Shkoyach Rabbi Yeshua, we got Rabbi Yeshua in the house. And two tremendous simchas today, big parts of our Shiur, sponsored by David Address, Mazel Tov to my son, Eli Address, and Yehudit Horowitz on their wedding today in Woodmere, New York. He's the Mechaber, the Baal Menagin. It's all about the Avada, Baal Mechaber Nigan. He's the one that put out the video. Sponsored by Yisrael Goldstein. We all know Yisrael Goldstein from Borough Park for the schus, my daughter's wedding that's taking place in Mishashim tonight. The Zivik should be Oile Yufa, and they should build a Bayis Nemun B'Yisrael. Amen. All right, Rabbi say no time for emails, so I'll skip all this. Just one very, very short one. This comes from Moshe Zeret. Somebody just waved to me. I should wave off the emails. I'd rather wave off the Gemara than wave off Chas v'Shalom. Moshe Zeret just moved to the neighborhood 4 days ago. He made Aliyah. I'm not exactly sure from where. From Highland Park. From Highland Park. No, where's Highland? Yeah. He sat right next to me for a month. And he says, please give the following message to Rebelli. I so much enjoyed the Siyum Brachas and Beis Tefillah and the Ruach that I resolved to move to the neighborhood. What he means, he made an Aliyah and moved to this neighborhood based on the experience he had by the Siyum. My wife so much enjoyed your wife's warmth at the table at the Siyum that night that she wholeheartedly endorsed the move. Moshe Zaret, so the Aliyah should be Yafa Yoyla Zayin, whatever you say. Okay, this one we'll have to read a different day. Zok the Heilige Gemara Daf Gimel Amud Beis. Karfav Shuyosim and Beis Osayim Shukaf Lediro. Going into some serious, beautiful Eruvin sugis here. You have a karpaf. A karpaf is in a closed area that's not for residential use at this point. Now, this one happens to be residential use. Oh, Lili Nishmas. Does it say it here? Look at that. With this, Lili Nishmas, Imi Meros Yerus Bas Mordechai. Karpaf, there's something, there's like a Karpaf Yoysim Beis Osayim Shukal V'Dira. When you built this thing, you built it because you wanted it for residential use. That's why you enclosed the whole area. Says the Gemara, Nizra Ruboy Hareu Kigina V'Asur. If you planted most of it, now I didn't have patience to print two pictures. There's one picture that looks like this. Here, two pictures. These are vegetables, he planted vegetables. These are trees. So let's say, but this is not the picture I'm looking for because this is not Ruboy. This is less than Roiv. Up to the fence, up to the gate is half, right? So over here, he went way over the halfway line. He planted most of it. This is a havamin of the Gemara. Hareu kegina v'asur. Now, if you plant vegetables in your karfaf, you can't walk on vegetables. Who walks on vegetables? So it's not for residential use. So therefore, it asers the whole karfaf. Asur. Now, this is a halacha that we're going to take with us through the sugya. If you have one area that's asur, So even though this area right here is mutter, but everything becomes asr. Because this area, the mutter area, is open to the asr area. And anything that's open to an asr area becomes asr. So this entire karfav becomes asr. Okay? This sugi, by the way, goes like 8 lines down to the top of Chavdal Amud Aleph, and that's it. So let's hold cup just for this sugi here. This is the tough one for today, maybe. Might be lying a little bit. Shalom Aleichem, Zoom guys. You're far away from me, but I see Ari Rosenstein and I see the whole oilam. Okay, great. Brosner and the...
Eli, do you hear?
I hear you perfectly, Noam. Louder than in my own house. You're scary. You're coming out of these massive speakers.
Gotta zoom in on the pictures.
Zoom in on the pictures. Who's in charge? That's Gary.
And the sound is very, very grainy.
Okay, that's the first day. We had an issue with the sound. That's why we didn't start right away. Okay, thanks. Menachem Ateh is supposed to be doing the pictures. Where is he? He's not doing it today? He's coming on soon? Oh, he's on. Good. Eli Dykman is in his regular spot, top left corner. I see the Lynn kid, Givaldic. Everybody's in place. 10 minutes. We have David Feinberg here, which, by the way, tomorrow he's already, the 10-minute guy. Fine. Zog the Gemara, Nizra Ruboy, Hareo Kegina Va'asur. Not Aruboy, Nita Aruboy, but if you planted trees like in this picture, somebody zoom in on this, Hareo Kechatzur Mutter. Oh, here goes Menachem Mata on Zoom. This is fine. Why? People walk through trees. You don't walk on tomatoes, but you walk through the trees. This is beautiful. You planted it nicely for your garden. So this doesn't do anything. Umotor. Nizar Ruboy. Omar Rav Huna Bereder Rav Yeshua. Now he qualifies this. This is a Havamina Rabbi said, don't get excited. If he planted more than 2 saw, let's say in this picture he planted more than 2 saw, and it's the roiv, it's 51%, which happens to be 2 things. 51% and it's 2 saw. It has to be a little bit more than 2 saw. Avo Beis Saim Mutar. Oh. If it's exactly 2 saw, we have 3 measurements, Rabbi Isai. Less than 2 saw, more than 2 saw, and 2 saw, 0, 0 on the dot. And we're going to see that the machlokes is on 0, 0 on the dot. So right now in the Havamina Gemara it says that if it's exactly 2 saw, mutter, you're allowed to carry. Now, what's going on here? So the Gemara brings a machlokes. There are 3 areas. There's the roof. You see, on top of this guy's a roof. You have a karfaf, this whole thing, and a chatzar. Chachamim hold, on Shabbos you cannot carry from one to the other. It's like going from one rishus to another rishus. So I cannot jump off my roof and carry something into here, or from here into here. So according to Reb Shimon, it's not a problem. According to Reb Shimon, I could go from my karfaf, from my planted area, into my chatzar. They don't make it also for each other. So therefore, if I'm at 0, 0, at 2 saw is a mutter area so far, according to everybody, it's a mutter area. So it doesn't answer me, and what's the other problem? That perhaps I can't walk from here into here. That's the problem. But I could, according to Reb Shimon, I could walk from here to here because there's no such thing as going from one rishus to the other rishus, according to Reb Shimon. The only issue is going from a house into a rishus, but from one rishus to is not a problem. Hold on, we're going to tighten this up a little bit. We'll understand it great. Our base of saying mutter, keman Reb Shimon, goes according to Reb Shimon. This nan. Reb Shimon oimer, echad gagois, ve'echad chatzeros, ve'echad karpifios. These 3 rishus, rooftops, courtyards, karpifios. These guys, rishus achasin lekelim sheshavsu b'soichan. So it's considered one rishus. I can go from one to the other. That's not a problem. We're going to say the reverse, and when we say the reverse, you'll understand exactly what we're talking about. However, and this is the different sugya. He holds that you're right. If something was in a house and was taken out of the house into the chatzar, now you're not allowed to move from the chatzar to some other rishus. That's not important for now. As the Gemara, and we're going to go away from this, and then we're going to come to the maskana, and we're going to clamp down on this. L'Reb Shimon Nami, Kivin the Nizra Rubai. What's the case? The case is that he planted only exactly 2 saw, perfect 2 saw, but it happens to be that's 51% of this enclosure. So if it's 51%, that's a roiv. And a roiv, you have to take the whole karfaf and consider the roiv. You hear Hillel? You have to take the roiv and consider that this whole thing is part of whatever is going on here. Let's say this is 51. Here, this is a better picture for this for a second. Here we can see it more clearly. This is a roiv, right? Everybody sees that there's more trees than empty area. So who cares about this small area? This small area should become part of the trees. Now what do you have? Sorry, I said roiv. 50% exactly. So maybe this picture. Forget this picture. 50 on 50. Ask the Gemara, but now, no, sorry, roiv. Back to this, hold on. This whole move, you see what you did to me? Masks. You're sitting on his table. No, I said I'm going to call him. Talk to him, tell him, invite him. Anyways, Zog the Gemara. Now, if you have roiv, now this should go to the roiv, this should go to the planted area, and make it a roiv, says the Gemara. What happened there? All you have is 2 saw exactly. You're calling this 2 saw, right? But it should be a little bit more than 2 saw. Why? Because of this empty area. This empty area should go together with the 2 saw and make it 2 saw plus. 2 saw, everybody agrees you can't carry in, right? 2 saw plus. All you have now is 2 saw. So this miyut, a miyut always goes after the roiv. This miyut should be part of the trees. Pretend this tree's planted here, and now all of a sudden, instead of having exactly 2 saw, you have 2 saw plus. It should be also. Okay, so we're going away from that. Says the Gemara, oh, I need this guy. This guy is very important. Says the Gemara, so it turns in to a karfaf that's more than 2 saw. Look at the stender. I have different compartments, throw things in here, but I don't have a water holder. That's a problem. This is the pshat. Shari. So Rav Huna is saying something like this. Who is it? Yeah. Omer Rav Huna b'rei Rav Yishua. We start off the sugya, karfaf shu yosim and beis osayim, if you have an enclosure that's more than 2 saw. Shuga l'dira. It was built for residents. Now, nizra rubai, if most of that area was planted seeds, no good. So now Rav Huna is saying something else. Hami utashari. But let's say a part of it, the lesser part of it was planted, mutter. So again, Rabbi Beis, I'm telling you right now, we're almost done. 5 more lines, we're done. So if you're spacing out and it's too complicated and I don't know what I'm talking about, 5 more lines. That's only, when do I say that it's mutter to carry there? When it's not sosayim. Now let me just tell you real quickly. Here's what we have here. This is the maskana. Make it easy, okay? If someone planted less than half of what he has right now, if he planted more than half, whatever it is, I don't care how big it is, more than half, everybody holds this usher. You ruined it. But let's say he planted less than half of what he has, half of the area. You see, here's the gate. The gate is the 50% line. He planted less. So it depends how much he planted in that less. In the 49% of the enclosure, how much did he plant? How much is 49%? If it's, you see the red? Red is no good. If it's more than 2 saw, everybody agrees you cannot carry here. In everything. This would answer on this part also. If it's less than 2 saw, everybody agrees to get the green light. Everybody agrees that you could carry here. Why? Less than 2 saw, everything becomes bottle here. You could carry in everything. Now, if it's exactly 2 saw, this planted area is exactly 2 saw, Machlokes Reb Shimon and Rabbanan. Listen to this. This is Mari de Gechach. This is Gishmak. Why? Look at Chachamim. Chachamim say an amazing thing. Chachamim say, if this is exactly 2 saw, are you allowed to carry in exactly 2 saw? Yes. So then why is this whole area asur? Here's the chap. The chap is because according to Chachamim, you're allowed to carry here, but you're not allowed to carry from here to here. it's usher to go from here to here. It's two reshuyos, right? It's like going from a rooftop to a chotzer, from a chotzer to a karfaf. So I can't go from here to here. I can't go from here. Oh, so now this area I can't carry into here. So it's open to an area where I can't carry. If I can't carry, then it answers it on me. Anytime I'm open to an area where I can't carry, then everything becomes usher. So if I'm standing here and it's 2 saw, so 2 saw is significant, it doesn't become bottle, so I cannot carry from here into here. Then everything becomes usher. It's a tremendous chap. You hear what's going on here? No. Let's do it again. Shiur is over today at 8:45. Rabbi say. Yeah. What did I say? Open? Same word, no? Okay. We have 2 saw of this planted area. 2 saw. Halachically, if this was enclosed with a fence, you could carry inside 2 saw because it's not more than 2 saw. It's 2 saw, 0, 0. But because Chacham have another halacha that says you're not allowed to carry from one type of rishus to another type of rishus, and these are 2 different types. This is called a karfaf. This is called a chotzer. So I can't go from here to here. So now, and they are wide open to each other. There's no fence over here. So memela, I can't carry neither of them. They answer each other on each other. But that's only because you hold you cannot carry from here to here. But according to Rabbi Shimon, it says that you could carry from one to the other. So you're allowed to carry in this whole thing. Because there's no one area that answers on the other area. Kiman kirabanan. That goes according to Rabbanan. Say you're not allowed to go from one area to another. And just the flip side, we're just going to do the other side. And he says the opposite. That what? We're not going according to Rabbanan, we're going according to Rabbi Shimon. It says over in the Brisa that if you planted on the roiv, you answer the whole karfaf. But it's mashma that if you do a miyut, if you're like in this picture, you didn't plant most of the karfaf, you planted less than 50%, you're allowed to carry. In other words, Reb Shimon holds that if it's exactly 2 saw, 0, 0, it's mutter. Why? Because one area doesn't answer on the other area, and it's only 2 saw. But more than 2 saw, according to everybody, Chacham, Reb Shimon, everybody agrees that if it's more than 2 saw, you can't carry there. If it's less than 2 saw, everybody agrees that you could carry there. If it's exactly 2 saw, according to Reb Shimon, you could carry there because one area doesn't answer on the other area. According to Chachamim, it's also if it's exactly 2 saw, because one area answers on the other area. Very good. Says the Gemara. Brand new sech. Rabbi said, forget that. Okay? Forget that we just learned that. Brand new sech. Nita ruboy hareo gechatzu mutter. So, if you plant trees, like, where's that picture? Here. If you plant trees, not grass, it doesn't answer anything because it's part of your garden, you have nice trees, everything is great. Says the Gemara, wait a minute. That's only if it's planted beautifully in nice rows where it's easy to walk through. But if it's like one of those crazy terrains, you can't, there's tree here, tree there, you can't walk through, so you can't use it. It becomes awesome. Rav Nachman Omar, remember this Rav Nachman, we're going to have him in a second. Rav Nachman says, I don't care how you plant your trees, you can plant them crooked. A tree is a tree, it's not a tomato. You could walk there, it doesn't answer your karfaf. Says the Gemara story, Mar Yehuda Ikla Bar Yehuda, Chaznu Lahano Delo Yavidet Tablois. There was a place where the trees were planted all sloppy, and they were carrying within them. Avimi says you have to plant them perfectly in order to carry there. I don't hold like that. I hold like Rav Nachman, and that's what the Rosh Paskins lahalacha like Rav Nachman. You can plant them sloppy, and it doesn't ruin it. Trees do not ruin your karfaf. Omer Rav Nachman, Omer Shmuel. Karfaf yoisim beiso saim shali hukav lediro. If you have an enclosed area that wasn't built for residential use, so Rabbi Isai, very important halacha. We're learning major halachas today in Eruvin. If I have a karfaf and it was built for I don't have a good picture for these guys, for the lumber. It's a lumber yard. I cannot one day decide, I want to use it for my family. I want to make it a playground for my kids. You can't do that. So what do you have to do? You have to knock it down and build it over again. Or there's an easier eitzah, says the Gemara. You break it open more than 10 amas. I thought I had a picture here somewhere. Oh, he has the picture. Take that thing off. Yeah, here it is. How come I don't have it? I don't know. Okay, somewhere. It's on Zoom. Rabbi said, turn it. Oh, here it is. Just not in the right order. I break down the wall only 10 amas. Now we learned many times. If it's less than 10 amas, that's not considered a break in the wall. Why? That's an opening. It's a door. Doorway doesn't ruin my karfaf. Oh, if I knock down the wall 10 amas, I just knock down my entire karfaf, halachically, and all I have to do is rebuild 10 amas. And then I build it back. Umutar now becomes, I built my new karfaf when I built up the wall. 10 amas, I built it for residential use. Umutar. Iboilu. Parat sama v'godar amma. What if he didn't knock down 10 amas? He knocked down 1 amma and rebuilt it. And he repeated that 10 times. No, everybody's looking at us and saying, what's going on here? Of course, he didn't do anything. He only built it, he knocked down an amma and put back an amma. So at any given time, the wall was complete. Who cares that he did it 10 times, right? That's your typical logic. But guess what? Just like we had yesterday, the Gemara is going to go against our logic. He did this 10 times, but at every given time, he only had a 1 amma breach in the geder, in the fence, and therefore, l'chayra, he never broke down his fence at any given time. What's the halacha? Amalei, I'll tell you what the halacha is. Lav haynu disnan, kol klei balabatim shurim kirimayim. When you have a wooden kli, and it has a hole in it, if it's the size of an olive, people don't throw it out. Why? Because they could put the larger fruit in there, whatever's larger than an olive, the next step up. And that, it keeps on going until it gets to the size of a pomegranate. Once it gets to the size of a pomegranate, the guy throws out his kli, and we said that only applies to private people, but if he's in a store and he's selling kelim, even if it has a small hole the size of an olive, he'll throw it out right away. And Chizkiah has, same question that we have right now. What happens if he kept on having small holes, like you see in this picture? A small kazayis plugged it up. A small kazayis plugged it up. And he keeps on going, small, plug, until he has the entire size of a pomegranate. He's doing beautifully. Guys, if you look over there on his little arrow, Menachem, do it again. Show him how you do it. All around, Givaldik. The small size, Givaldik. Do they add up? The answer is yes, they add up. So if it adds up over here, it's going to add up by us, by a fence. I knock down 1 amma, put it back. Knock down another amma, put another amma. Until I have 10 ammas, I broke my entire fence. Until he had a full pomegranate. And said, Rebbe, Shani Salonu, you told us, sandal. Oh, Rabbi, so you probably remember this from Sefta Shabbos. If you were with us then, I didn't want to go with I didn't want to cheat. I wanted to take out the old picture so you guys remember. Remember the sandal? Here's the Oznaim, here's the Tarsi Yosef. We had this. Now, whole sugya, this sugya, mamish. Shenifsiko achas ma'oznov. One of these red guys, Menachem, I wanted to slip you up over there. I didn't put, this is from Shabbos, Daf Yomi. But, okay, he has a different picture. It's a nicer shoe, I have to tell you, but my Oznaim are much better. So, the red, one of the reds came off, and he fixed it. So, Tomei Medrus. So, the tumah that the Zav, by stepping on it, put into the shoe, remains Tomei. Nifsiko Shniya, V'tikna. But if you remove the second one, and when you remove the second one, the first one is already fixed. Nifsiko Shniya, V'tikna. Tar, Mina Medrus. Aval Tomei, Mago Medrus. Fine, we're not going to go into that. It still has some sort of tumah. Depends how you learn Rashi here, Rashi in Shabbos. It has a little residue of tumah, considered a rishon l'tumah.
Why do we care? What was up and what was down? That's all I care.
Oh, Here, let's get to the end. You'll see what the Gemara says. V'armas Allah here. Maishna Rishayna the Kaimashniya. When the first strap came off, you said no, it remains completely Tamei the shoe. Why? Because it has one more strap. The Kaimashniya. Shniya Nami Hokaim Rishayna. And the problem is, when the second strap came off, the first strap was there. It was already fixed. At any given time, there was one strap left. That's pretty much our question in our sugya. At any given time, you had 9 amas, you had a full fence, only 1 amma missing. And you told us over there, this is a brand new shoe. You take everything that happened in the past, you put them all together, and at Lemais, at the end of the day, we had a breech here that was 10 amas wide. We had a shoe that was missing 2 straps. We have a dish that has a hole the size of a pomegranate. It all adds up, and Memela, that's why in our sugya, it's as if he broke down the wall and he rebuilt it, and it's a good karfaf. Karyalei, leis dein bar inosh, this is not a human being. Unbelievable what are you saying? This is a human. By the way, I'll remind you, the Gemara over there says that he's a human. If he's a human, then what are we? So it says, if they're like malachim, the next generation is human. And if they're human, what are we? We're like donkeys. Not only donkeys, not just a donkey, not the donkey of a Pinchas ben Yair, but stam donkeys. Fine. And I saw, Rabbi, I saw in the Agdama to the guy with the Elio. He says like, so if the Tanoim and Amoraim are donkeys, so what are we? And he says, Rabbi Isai, we are. There's a Gemara over there also in Shabbos, like 2 daf before that if a woman wants to stop her ziva, she should take the barley that's within the dung. So we are not even barley that's within the dung. And when I read that, I was like, what about Gaiva? How could a guy write about himself that he's such an anav? That dark of anava, that's already Gaiva. That's what I was thinking when I was reading that Agdama. Says the Gemara, what? Huh? Listen to this. If you have this back, what is it called? Outlet, this lot in the back. What is it? No. This is behind. We have pictures of it. Basically, here, right over here. It's behind the houses, not in the front. This is not the picture for now, but you see, this is the back of the house. The back lot. Back lot. So let's call it, by the way, I missed the whole sugya. Rashi keeps on saying it's a caramelist. Every time it's osir, it's a caramelist. Fine. But this is considered like a caramelist. This is a makam osir. But even in a caramelist, you could carry 4 amas. You could carry even a Rosh Hashanah 4 amas. So that's why he says, you get 4 amas. V'omer Rav Nachman, im pasach loy pesach. But if he opened up a door from his house into it here like this, he has a door. You're allowed to carry there. Wait a minute, pesach matiroi, because the door makes it mutter. Says the Gemara, that's only if he had a door. He built a house with a door going into a backyard, and then he enclosed it. But if you have this guy first, and then you open up a door, that's too late. We said that before, right? Once you have a karfaf, the only way out of it is to break it down. Or break down 10 amas. But you can't just open up a little door to it and say, now it's residential use. Put up a sign. From today on, it's not a lumber yard. From today on, it's a backyard. It's a playground. Doesn't work. Says the Gemara, what do you mean? If you built a house and you built a giant backyard for your kids, pasha that it's mutter. What's the big deal? This is that's this picture right over here. That beidare means he has a wheat plant over here. He's doing his chida. He's taking care of this is his business. He grinds it. He has a donkey here that's threshing it. The whole thing. So I would think that even though he decided, he's screaming out, this is my kid's playground, but look, the donkey proves that it's not. The wheat proves that it's not. Kamash malon that it is. Says the Gemara. Karpav Yosim Beis Osayim. Gary, let me see what it looks like on Zoom for a second, if you don't mind. Like Karpav Yosim Beis Osayim Shugol V'Diro. I don't see. Blow it up for a second. I want to see what it looks like on the Zoom. What? No, could you blow it up, please, for a second? That picture, it should take up the whole screen. Okay. Karpav Yosim Beis Osayim Shugol V'Diro. How? I don't see. Okay, fine. I see something else. I see a Beidari. All right, Rabbi say another case. We're going through cases, we're going through halachas, amazing stuff. What if a guy has a swimming pool in his backyard? He has a karfa full of water. What's the halacha? You can't step in it. So it's like planted tomatoes and cucumbers, you can't step on it, so it becomes aser. Omar Luhu Rav Abba Achua the Rav, I forgot who it is here, Zayin the Rava. The brother, Rav Abba, the brother of Rava, the son of Berei, the Rav Misharshin. This is what they said in the name of Rava. Mayim Kinatayim Damu. It's this. The swimming pool is not like a bunch of vegetables. This is more like trees. Turning to Daf Amud Beis, sponsored by Asher, Eli Nishmas' mother, Roiza Bas Binyamin. Make it a great day! And Eli Nishmas, Mordechai Yosef ben Aaron Listhouse. Omar Ameimar. No, you think we could do this, Amud, in 5 minutes? We do regular Amudim that are much larger in 5. You have to be able to drink the water. Now, if you can drink the water, that's the most residential possible. Drink. We said anytime you have a bar, you have this, it makes it residential. So if it's drinkable, great. Even if you can drink it, it's only on condition that the depth, the deep end where the lifeguard is 10 tfachim, that's deep, and it's not more the entire area by the yellow lines, between the yellow lines, I don't know if you can see it on the picture, is not more than 2 saw. In other words, you don't have 2 saw that's 10 tfachim. Asr, the whole entire backyard is asr. Once you have an area that's asr, and the rest is open to that area, the whole thing is asr. Vilav Milsi says the Gemara mistake. Mididahava akari de peri. Just like a mound of fruit in the middle of your backyard doesn't asr your whole backyard, so a mound of water, a deep hole of water, doesn't asr anything. Oh, Rabbi Isai, here we go. This is the picture of Masechtas Eruvin so far. It is very detailed and very, very geschmack, actually. We have a side view and a front view, all sorts of views. Here's what's going on. Let me give you the map. Hillel, do not leave now by the best picture of Eruvin. You have Rosh Hashanah here, you have a river over here, you have a mavui. This is called the Masa. That's what's going to be called here, the Masa. The Mavi that goes into the Rosh Hashanah. The Mavi leads into a Rechava. This is a backlot, really bad problem. You cannot carry in a backlot. This is a giant backlot. It was built for non-residential use. No way to carry in this thing. Then you have a Shvul Shekramim, a pathway that goes through the vineyards. This is a true story. This is a story that happened in this place. So you have vineyards, not important to us really, but this path leads into the water. Guess what goes from the Rosh Hashanah to the water? Animals. People try to bring, it's a nice beach, so they bring the animals to drink. So what do we have here again? We have a path that leads into an usher place to carry, that leads into a mavui, that leads into Rosh Hashanah. What happened was, they wanted to take away, they wanted to make the Rechava mutter to carry on Shabbos. Now, what's a good way to make it mutter to carry on Shabbos? Knock down, no, hold on, we're going to go through that. Knock down the wall. Knock down one of these walls, rebuild it with in mind that it's now residential use. But they don't want to do that. It's too much work. It's a big wall, it's a nice cement wall, they don't want to do it. So the Gemara is going to go through 4 options, what we could possibly do here. Let me show you the 4 options real quickly. Option number one is build a wall by the entrance to the beach. I put it in red lines over here, red konim. No good, not a good option. Now, by the way, we're talking about this at Tzuras HaPesach by the Rishus Harabim. So therefore, this Mavi has 3 sides. So another option would be putting a Tzuras HaPesach by the entryway to this Shvil HaKramim, this pathway that leads to through the vineyard, because look, there's vines on both sides. It's a path through the vineyard. Another option would be to put a lechi, a blue stick, right over here, leading into the rechava, into the open area, and a lechi on this side by the end of the Shvil HaKram leading to the rechava, and a lechi on this side by the mavoy leading into the rechava. Those are the 4 options. Says the Gemara. What do we have? A minute? We start a little late. I get a little credit. Oh, Rabbi Isai, why is this backwards? Only over here by us is backwards. Okay. I believe you. That's why I said I want to see, I want to understand. I like the new stender. Rabbi Isai, I like the new stender, the new Aron Kodesh. Why? How come the lights are not on the Aron Kodesh? Okay, tomorrow it's going to be better. Says the Gemara like this. Ahu rechava dehabib Pum Nahara. Pum Nahara is the name of a place. There's a chava, the backlot, that is very problematic for us. The Chad Gisa, one side have a Pasiach Lamaso, one side was open to Amavui. The Chad Gisa have a Pasiach L'Shvil Shekramim. And the other side of the Rechava, one side goes to the Mavui, one side goes into the path that goes through the vineyard. U'Shvil Shekramim have a Solik L'Guda de Nahara. And the path leads into the water. Omar Abai Heichin Neved. What's the best idea for them, which is going to cost the least amount of problems and money? Le'eved le Mechitza Guda de Nahara. If they're going to make the mechitza over here by the water, and this water, by the way, is a giant mechitza. Look at this mechitza. You see 10 tfachim of a wall here? That's considered a mechitza. So if I'm going to make another mechitza on top of it, it's as if you just added dirt to this pile on the beach, you raised it up, and that's nothing. So you can't add another mechitza here. So that one is bye-bye. And if I'm going to put a Tzuras HaPesach here by this red, by the entry to the vineyard, that's problem. Also, Gamle Shadin Le. Who? Menachem left. Okay. No more. But it's okay. We got this. It won't be. He went to the bathroom break. He's back. So if I do a Tzuras HaPesach by the opening to the Shvil HaKramim, what's going on? There's a nice picture in Kalal Shan. You have camels. You don't need a picture. Camels come to drink all the time, and they're going to rough it up. They're going to knock it down. So what do? Let's put a tiny little blue guy over here, a lechi. Lechi, explains Rashi, could be a mashu. It's as thin as paper. It's just 10 tvachim tall. Camel's not going to rub himself on the lechi. It'll stay there for a long time. And why? And how does this work? It works as follows. I cannot put a lechi, like you were saying, and be matter my rechava. It's not residential use. How could I make it? I can't use it. I can't put a lechi there. What I could do is put a lechi and make my shvil mutter. And memela the migu the mahani l'shvil shekramim, since it works for my vineyard, maninami l'rechava. So it's like a migui, not a migui, but since I'm using this lechi and it works, it helps me walk over here. So now I can't ignore the lechi anymore, and the lechi is going to work for the rechava as well. Says Rava, when somebody looks in here, he doesn't notice that there's a river, that there's water, and there's a whole beautiful mechitza, and this shvil shekramim is actually enclosed from 3 sides, and you just put the 4th side on. He thinks that you have 2 sides and a lechi, and that's it. He doesn't realize, when he looks at it, he doesn't see that there's an ocean below. And he's going to mimic this somewhere else without an ocean. A river, whatever it is over there. Yeah, it's not salt water. Fresh water. That's why the camels are drinking. Says the Gemara, what you need to do is put a lechi by the mavui. And you do the same trick. Now, since I could carry in the Mavi, why can I carry in the Mavi? I have a Tzuras HaPesach on one side, 2 walls on the other side. I already have 3 enclosed walls. I put a Lechi on the other end, and it works. Since I'm allowed to carry in the Mavui, called Masa, so I can carry in the backyard, in the back lot. Fine. Should we stop right over here? Mimasa, just for Nachman. Mimasa l'rchava, merchava l'masa. Sorry. Taltule b'rchava gufa shari. Now to carry in here will be mutter. Mimasa l'rchava, to go from here to here, u'merchava l'masa, and from the back lot to here, each one individually you could carry. Here you could carry. Here you could carry. To go from here to here is machloikes. Why? Man de shari the halekid the urine. At the end of the day, nobody lives here. If nobody lives here, you don't have to do Eruv Chatzeris on it. Eruv Chatzeris is when people live in a place, but nobody lives there. So it doesn't answer it. It's fakert than what you think. Because people don't live there, you don't need a Eruv Chatzeris. So, excuse me. People would use this as residential, therefore requiring a Eruv Chatzeris, and they'll forget. Melo, we said it's also forever. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Nachman, you want to say some Tehilim for us? Or you know what? We can hear you over Zoom. We hear Noam. Noam, let's go. Let's hear you. Shema Alei Shema Makim Chosicha Adinoi. Adinoi Shema Mikoili Dina Zochik Shema Zikodach Adinoi. This is Shema Yamoin. Kimcha Slicha Lemati Vorei. Gizan Gizan Avshin Vorei Chati. Shila Dinoi. Shemrim Laboiker Shemrim Laboiker. Chesed Adinoi Kim Adinoi Chesed Varbei Moi Fedus. Boi Dais Israel, Mikol Avnei Tzolach Nik B'Yisrael Shel B'Shol B'Shol Yoim Devim Shmokim Lachem Adem Tzim 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 Tzim